Yo, yo, yo. Can y'all see me good out there, chat? No? Yes? Maybe so? Trying to figure something out right quick, right quick. So I can. What up, Luz? Can you see me good, Luz? Sky. Shout out to Sky in the building. Astron. Sup, Drax? Miller Rose. Shout out to you. Can y'all hear me good out there? Can y'all see me good? Skyla, I'm doing okay. How you doing out there, Sky? What I'm playing? Nothing as far as what gaming. I'm not playing anything right now. I'm about to get into a little bit of content, a little bit of controversial content. But later on, I'll be on. Probably after I finish this, I'm gonna be playing Call of Duty. COD. That's where it's at. That's where I'm gonna be. Right after this, like as soon as this is over, I'm gonna be on COD. I appreciate everybody locking in and tuning in with the kid. If you haven't already, double tap, hit that subscribe button one time for the kid. Appreciate all of y'all. Y'all on COD? Anybody? Y'all on COD? Shout out to Tracy. Shout out to who else? Muchiro. Shout out to Muchiro. Muchiro. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong or not, but shout out to you. I appreciate you. Shout out to Tracy Cooper for stopping past, saying hi to the kid. Welcome to the A Society. We are here. Appreciate that. Shout out to and this is for everybody that's stopping past one time for the kid. We appreciate you. Shout out to every single soul. Appreciate all of y'all. Sammy, what it do? Nothing much, nothing much. Just cooling. Trying to work this streaming out right quick, making sure I'm good to go on y'all end because I don't want to continue to stream or do the stream if it's going to be laggy or anything of that sort. It's been giving me a couple of problems, so I'm just trying to see if I can wink them on out, That's all. Tough Squad TV. Peace, peace, brother. Peace. Appreciate you for stopping past. Nah, no gray. All white. It's all white. It's all white. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. It's been that way for quite some time. Quite some time. It started when I was real young, very, very, very young. I mean, I'm still young, 30s, in my 30s. I'm still young. I appreciate you. Blessings to you too, Sam. Likewise. That goes a long way. That means a lot to the kid. Appreciate you. All the time. Thank you very much. Well, it seems like it's doing okay. The stream's doing okay. It says that it's healthy, but it's been ah, giving me a couple of problems. So we're gonna lock in and go for what we know. I don't know if you guys are in tune to the worldly news of, little hippity hoppity society of what's going on with these Epstein files. It's a lot that I did not know. Um, you know how that goes. Slowly but surely. And the more we know, the more we grow. Can't do that. Appreciate you, man. You are not you might be the father. You keep putting your things in the wrong buttholes. You'll be all right, my brother. You'll be all right. But yeah, it's a lot going on with these files out here, and everybody wants to know what it is, who's in them, how do they get the information that's being in the files. Ash Drag, I appreciate that. My day's going well. It's okay. Sitting here eating some pineapples, drinking some water and some juice, and about to log on and get into this little content that I got here. Some informative content, that is informative content. Um, it's a little breakdown of you know the files of what everybody wants to know of. It's been a little journey for everybody, and the very very first clip that I have is something that I did not know at all. It was like mind boggling to me to find out like anybody could be in these files. And when I say anybody, I mean anybody. Y'all take the time, tap in, and we gonna rock on out. I appreciate all of y'all for being here. And remember, this is the A Society where we don't break the content, we just break the content down. That's all. We don't break it, we just break it down, for the who's and for the what's and for the know-hows. Let's go.
Hello.
I've been up there for a long time. Just pause. We're gonna refresh this whole page chat.
Publicly a
There we
child
go.
predator and then allegations that he's fled the country. What on earth is going on? Now, we should say right from the outset that, of course, Fame Under Fire has contacted Jay-Z's lawyer. That's Alex Spiro. Remember him? He's come up a few times. We asked for a response to these allegations, but we haven't heard back. We do know that in the recent past, think back to those Diddy allegations that involved Jay-Z, he has issued vehement denials about these sorts of allegations. But joining me to break all of this down is, of course, our resident trial attorney, me and Sean Kent, reunited. But I'm hearing that South Carolina is in the middle of a blizzard right now, so we check in on his well-being because I don't think they've ever seen snow before. Hi, Sean.
It is Blizzard Apocalypse 2026. We got a good full half an inch of dusting of snow and the entire state shut down.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome to the South. We're not used to seeing snow. It's like dandruff all over the world.
But it hasn't stopped you from appearing in a two-piece paisley suit with a striped lining. Oh my God, he's back. He's back with a vengeance.
We've been apart so long, I decided to go very conservative together because I missed you.
Yeah, I'd say I miss you, but we talk all the time.
I think the world was on fire while you went on vacation, so let's make sure we don't go anywhere else anytime soon.
I'm never leaving you again. You try cycling around the rice fields of Vietnam and you're like, they did what now? What's been released? But we need to talk about the Jay-Z inclusion in the Epstein files. There's a lot for us to go over here. But before we get into that, I just want to cover some ground that might feel very familiar for some people, but maybe for our younger listeners. Sean, can you just explain what the Epstein files actually are?
And I'm glad you asked that, because there's been so much
Now this guy here, he's going to explain the whole entirety of the files. Now, this is a lot that I didn't know, but we're going to tap in. Let's go.
information about the Epstein files, because people hear the Epstein file, they're almost like the X files, and people think that it is the conclusion of an investigation of a bunch of people. All the Epstein files are just an investigative file. And when I say investigative file, convicted financier Jeffrey Epstein, of course, was looked at for a bevy of charges. Chief
And that he was.
among those charges were doing things with children. And so when the FBI was looking into him, they have a duty to follow up every tip possible and full information against Jeffrey Epstein. So what the Epstein files are is everything. And I hate to say it that way, but it's everything. It's every bit of investigation that possibly could have happened against Jeffrey Epstein, whether it was about him or tangentially touched him.
Very much so. Tangentially touched him. So it could be anyone of any sorts that had any communication with the man. Those of you who don't know, I did not know. I was on the fence as well. So we're going to continue.
Had a tip line. It involves tips. It involves unsubstantiated tips. If Jeffrey Epstein's name came up whatsoever throughout an investigation, it involves it. If he went to the grocery store on the 16th and bought some watermelons from your cousin's name is in the Epstein files. But
Even the watermelon seller. So that doesn't matter. It doesn't. So the Epstein's file here that we now are finding out that it could be anybody attached to that man. So he just said that if he went to the store, purchased a watermelon from your family member's name would be in those files. Now we hear the name Epstein files and we go berserk, like, whoa. But I was in amazement to find this out. I found this out today as I'm trying to sit here and give this good information to you guys.
it also includes his flight logs, people he talked to, trips. So it is just a full investigative body. The best way to describe it is about 3 terabytes of information. So if you're sitting at home, it can fill up 3 fully charged iPhones with investigation and pictures and so forth. So the Epstein files is just 600 million pages of an investigation.
And there's so much for us to get into there.
Whoa. That's a big investigation. Now, everybody's name is in there. The dog groomer, his hairstylist, whoever was doing his yard work, his maids. So everybody's name is in these files that I did not know.
About layers of investigation and what.
Big shout out to the doc. We appreciate you for sliding through one time for the one time. Always peace and blessings, always.
Is personal emails, pictures, and we're going to talk about that. But really at the center of all this are the victims, the survivors, and their names have cropped up in this, some of them unredacted. Can you just talk about the handling of this a little bit?
One of my biggest fears as a criminal defense lawyer, as a human being, was everybody said, release the Epstein files. The problem with just releasing the Epstein files is our interest to know stuff has to be balanced by an individual's privacy rights. And so when we release the Epstein files, we have victims who don't want their names released, people who are subject to horrible things at the hands of him. People are still going through psychological terror. We released it with such a haphazard reaction. It was so bad to me that it hurt more people than it possibly helped. And sometimes we have to balance the public's need to know versus a person's individual privacy.
Well, yeah, it's been re-traumatizing for a lot of the victims who are in there, some of them whose privacy has been violated. And it's already difficult enough, having to go through what they've been through, and then to have what, many lawyers who've got clients who were victims and survivors of Jeffrey Epstein have said, just completely shoddy, just lack of.
Exactly, Sam. Exactly. Sam says, so it's some innocent people could be guilty just by association? You're goddamn right. If he walked past you, tipped you a couple of dollars, and you was a street worker, just out performing your arts, your name is in the Epstein's files. If he, like he said from the beginning, if he went to the store, purchased a watermelon from your cousin's name is in the Epstein's files. If he sent the email to you just to say, hi, how are you doing today? Your name is in the Epstein's files. And this, I did not know.
Care going through and not redacting people's names. I mean, some people's names have been in
Bizarre.
there hundreds of times. So I think we need to remember that those individuals are central to what's been released and have called for the release of the files. But for people...
Yeah, because I was on the fence as of, okay, if your name is on the Epstein files, whoa. You know how that goes. Whoa. Epstein's files plus your name, it has to be something horrible, something horrific, something diabolical that makes your name to be in those files. Big shout out to Moni. Appreciate you, Miss Mel. But it had to be something diabolical for your name to be in those files. But as we see here, it could be anybody. It could be your grandma. It could be anybody in the world. If you had any type of association with that man, your name is in the Epstein's files. But now it just brings me to the point as of, why are certain people being spoken of and others aren't, So I say, for the victims of those who had no participation in going to the island or whatsoever, yeah, I look at those people as if you are being victimized as of today. You are being victimized.
People who are interested, and there is a great interest in this, because of the nature of the crimes and because we've heard so much about it, but also because he died before he went to trial, you can find the Epstein files yourself. Can you just talk me through where you can find them?
Oh, I mean, if you want to do the simplest part possible, you can find the Epstein files. If you got Google, you can find the Epstein files.
Yeah, if you Google Jeffrey Epstein files DOJ, it will bring you up to a page. You have to be over 18 years old to look through. I would say, sensitive material in there, triggering material for a lot of people who may have been through similar things. So approach with caution. But what you get is a page where you can keyword search terms. Now, if you go in there and you keyword search Sean Carter, you will find the inclusion, which is the real name for Jay-Z, of Jay-Z in the Epstein files. Now, you've just covered how wide-ranging they are, Sean.
Very wide-ranging. Very, very wide-ranging.
But I'm going to read out what is in there when you search up Sean Carter, okay? So it came through a tip line. Can you just explain what that is?
So what the FBI does, and most agencies do, when they're looking at somebody who is this large in a crime, they set up an FBI tip line. And I'll tell you, having spoke to the FBI before on certain cases, as much as we think they love these tip lines, they hate them, but they are a necessary tool to try to get investigation and get information. Because what happens in these tip lines is they get thousands of calls. They get fame seekers. They get individuals.
I can only imagine. People just want to call just to say anything, not even to do with the case. It'd be the most unfathomable thing possible, and they would have to accept it as such, as a tip. That's fucked up.
And when they get these tips in, they send it out. They send a 1-800 number out, and they're like, if you have any information that might be related to, say, the Jeffrey Epstein case, please call our tip line. What ends up happening is those informations come in. There is a body of people who sit there just in a room. It could be 100 of agents who are listening to all these calls, and then they have to sift through them. There is an agency, a part of something that's called a taint team, and the team then breaks down the information first to see, and I'm trying to keep it simple, but what they do is they break down the first level of this is completely impossible.
Yeah, it has to go through some type of legitimacy, like they say the taint team, to see if it's tainted information or not. Yeah. Sam says, I heard that he didn't kill himself. Well, ooh, I don't know if I could say that. I heard that he didn't delete himself, that someone else did it. Now, I've heard that, and I've also heard that he's still alive, buddy. There's another video that's out there that shows his cell being covered up prior to his death, and also it's still being covered up after his death to where you can't see what's actually going on. So the cover was placed probably I do believe 2 hours before he was clarified to be deceased.
Talking about astronauts, they're talking about aliens, they're talking about things of this nature. We immediately remove those. And then the second part of the taint team sends the next bit of information that could have any logical information to what they're looking for, and they investigate it. And that's all a tip line is.
So I'm going to read out what is in there, and it says date time received 7th of October 2019 at 8:20 in the morning. It says, in approximately 1994, Redacted revealed herself to Redacted as a past victim of sexual abuse by Epstein. Redacted described the abuse occurred during parties. The next section is Redacted. Further identifies a few other redacted names. Now, in relation to Jay-Z, it says in approximately 1996, Redacted resided with Redacted in Redacted. An unknown man abducted her from her home when she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, stage name Jay-Z. While Weinstein had inserted his fingers into Redacted.
Now, when she keeps saying redacted is only an editing process for certain, I would say, forms of documentation that is blanked out. So everything that you see that's blacked out, marked out, that is redacted.
Redacted believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. So that is the specific reference to Jay-Z. And like you said, that's in the broadest sweep of the Epstein files. But Sean, that doesn't indicate criminality. It doesn't indicate that a criminal charge is coming against Jay-Z. It doesn't actually specifically reference any abuse committed by Jay-Z. So what should we take from this inclusion?
Nothing. And I hate to say it that way, and I'm not trying to be coy, but we should take nothing from it, but the world will. And here's why we should take nothing.
Yes, the world will, because of the fact that his name is being attached to something that's very much so evil to the public. That's all that they know. That's all that they hear. So with you saying his name, you could just say his name, say Epstein's files, and it's going to be looked at as an evil source.
From it. If, these are massive ifs, Anushka, if you wanted to be included in the Epstein file, you could have called the tip line and giving that information with your name in it involving Jay-Z.
And you would have been in the Epstein's files. You calling up there, giving them a tip, leaving your name's in the Epstein's files.
They would have had that in there. Until that investigative file goes to the next level, meaning there are possibly a criminal charges, maybe a grand jury has been indicted, maybe he has been interviewed, maybe he's been investigated. There is nothing there. Just because this is the Epstein files, I want the world to understand this is nothing special. This happens every single day. Been doing this for 26 years. You would be shocked how many times we have clients, individuals, when I go and look at a criminal file where I see very random names mentioned in it, and the cops are just like, yeah, that has nothing to do with the case. We got this tip, we just put it inside of there, and no one ever knows. And so to answer your question, just being in the file means nothing.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Gosh almighty. So anybody could be in these files. So when they drop these names, just be more weary or to know, like, okay, they could have just been around or did anything of the nature for their names to be in those files.
Because out there, believe it or not, somebody watching this podcast right now, your name is in a criminal file because somebody has mentioned you and you don't even know it. So it means nothing at this point.
The inclusion is a procedural formality, and it's because of what Trump signed to be released. But there are levels to the evidence that is there, because there are other people, famous names, where there's pictures of them on Epstein Island. There's correspondence between Epstein and them. It's a couple of emails back and forth where they seem to be arranging to meet up, but that is all very different from what is in there pertaining to Jay-Z. I also want to say that the claim is that this took place in 1996 on that tip line. That was the year Jay-Z released his first studio album, and some people on social media have pointed out that perhaps he wouldn't be rubbing shoulders with Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein when he just released an album in 1996. But that, of course, is there for the FBI to investigate, and there are no criminal charges. And if there were, we'd be telling you about them. So, Sean, you've just explained very clearly there Jay-Z's inclusion and what we should take from it, which you've said is pretty much like nothing at all. But I want to say that this was taken then to another level by Nicki Minaj, who is, you and I know, one of the most successful female rappers of all time and a former fan and collaborator of Jay-Z. So yeah, Nicki has long looked up to Jay-Z. She released an album called The Pink Print, which is a direct reference to his album, The Blueprint. Like you say there, she's talking about if she hadn't signed with Lil Wayne to be on the YMCMB label, she'd have signed with Jay-Z. She's done songs with Beyonce, on and on and on, which is why it's really quite confusing for people who are just casual observers of this, that she posted a shot of Jay-Z with Aaliyah, the R&B singer, with the caption #ChildPredator. Now, this did actually come amidst a flurry of other tweets, some of which where she was making fun of Lizzo's body. Sean, you've got that one, don't you?
I do.
Quote, please.
Not getting canceled. This is like reading mean tweets, but reading the
Not getting canceled? Yeah, definitely. You got to be very weary, my brother. Be very weary.
tweet out, going with the glasses here. That way it shows. Fat Lizzo lost 300 pounds just to sell 300 albums. So now she has loose skin and a flop album and a weird charge. Sheesh.
So she tweeted that about Lizzo. Interesting thing for Nicki Minaj to tweet, seeing as she's always been sort of a mouthpiece for body positivity.
Body positivity. She is the cult of inconsistency, hypocrisy on some of these tweets based upon who she is and her history, but I'm sure we'll get into that as well.
I mean, I want to fact check that first of all. Lizzo is not facing any criminal charges. You don't get charges with a civil trial. So, it's an incorrect thing to say. I'm assuming she's referring to the civil lawsuit filed by 3 former backup dancers of Lizzo who allege they were subject to sexual harassment. Some of those claims are that Lizzo pressured one of her backup dancers, to touch the breast of a dancer in a nightclub in Amsterdam. Other incidents cited in the case include claims that dancers were asked to eat fruit from the naked bodies of club workers. Lizzo has denied multiple times all the allegations, saying, "I am not settling. I'll be fighting every single claim until the truth is out." Now, Sean, if I'm going to be really, really petty, I can fact check the weight loss claim. Technically, Lizzo has publicly stated that at her heaviest, she was 325 pounds. So by Nicki's maths, she'd be currently weighing 25 pounds. I know she's being facetious, but, just for the interest of taking it literally. In other tweets from Nicki that she's released, she's claimed that Chrissy Teigen has or had a penis, allegedly. Sean, give me that tweet.
Everyone knows Chrissy Teigen has had a dick, D-I-K, period. Allegedly, period.
What in the what the?
Period.
And look, Nicki Minaj hasn't presented any evidence for this claim, and Chrissy Teigen hasn't responded. Another crazy tweet from Nicki, but I just want to ask, as a point, does slapping the word allegedly on the end of an inflammatory statement or potentially defamatory statement just outright protect you against a defamation lawsuit?
In a weird way, yes. Because
yes, it does. It very much so does. That's just like how they always say now, in GTA, whatever, they'll say what they want to say, and then they'll put in GTA, I'll do this and that and the third in GTA. That's how it goes.
Remember, you're trying to hold the statement out to say that it's true. And so you're not verifying its veracity. You're saying, allegedly. So you're saying, I'm not saying that it's true. I'm saying it's not. And let's not forget, the statement in and of itself, just this statement by itself, to me, isn't defamatory. I know you're like, what? It's an insult. You know, we still have to use the whole sticks and stones may break our bones references when talking about these things. But yes, believe it or not, putting allegedly on there could save a lot of things, because the defense, if she gets into trial, will be like, look, I didn't hold this out to be truthful. If I can give you an example, in 2022, there was a lawsuit in which a rapper sued a podcaster by the name of Nosy Ho, Heaux, Ho.
Nosy Ho? I never heard of Chat. Anybody ever heard of Nosy Ho before? I don't know who that person is. I don't know if it's a it, he, she, whatever the case may be. I don't know who Nosy Ho is.
Or something of that nature, in which Nosy Ho said, this rapper used cocaine and I know it to be true. And so the rapper ended up suing Nosy Ho. Her real name was Marley Green, and sued Nosy Ho and said, how dare you say.
So is she a nosy hoe? Well, I'm going to say she's a nosy hoe, allegedly. That's how that works, you know?
This to be truth. This is defamatory because you have now accused me of a crime. It's defamatory per se. You can't do this. So they sued. Nosy Ho settled and said, you are right. And part of the settlement was, you have to apologize, and you better never talk about my family again. And said, we'll never talk about the family again. And if you ever mention my family.
Appreciate you for sliding through, my brother. Big shout out to Big Peasy for sliding through one time for the kid.
Family again, I'll give you $50,000. The reason I bring it up is that was Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj was the rapper who sued.
Oh, what?
Mind blown. Nicki Minaj in 2022 sued Marley Green because Marley Green said that she was a cokehead. Nicki Minaj says you cannot.
Allegedly. She was only reason she sued her was because she forgot to say allegedly. So, chat, get this straight. You can say whatever you want to say. Let it be known. Just don't forget the allegedly. Because if you do, your ass is in a world of trouble. You could be sitting in court sad.
Not say this stuff about me because it's insinuating that I have committed a crime. Why do we bring that up? Well, think about it.
Well,
Mind blown.
You've been digging around in the archives.
Yeah, start looking.
Maybe that's what taught Nicki to slap on the word allegedly.
In the archive, I don't know who this young lady is, but that accent got me.
To the end of her Twitter rampage. This isn't something new for Nicki. She's said inflammatory things on Twitter before. Remember when she claimed that the COVID-19 vaccine enlarged men's testicles? No proof of that, by the way, guys. And I mean, Boris Johnson responded to that. Nicki is known for saying some crazy things on Twitter, but the tweets about Jay-Z are brimful of criminal allegations, claiming he's a child sexual predator without the use of the word allegedly, but also that he's been, quote, sacrificing children as a way of gaining and maintaining power, close quote. She also said, quote, the guy was hugging and humping on teens in broad daylight, close quote. Once again, we asked Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, for a response to Nicki's allegations, and we've heard nothing back. Now, a listener question is coming from Sophie from London. Hi, Sophie. Thank you for the question. On TikTok, it says, surely Jay-Z should be filing a defamation lawsuit expeditiously, in all caps, if this is false. The allegations are so bad. Sean, explain that, but also why his inclusion in the Epstein files kind of helps Nicki out in this case.
Given the fact that Nicki is in the rap game, she knows that you can take things to a different level if they're intended to be satirical, if they're intended to be entertainment value. That changes, however, if you are taking it to a level and you are saying that I am alleging that this stuff is true and I know it to be a fact. How do we know Nicki knows about this? I told you about the 2022 lawsuit. She knows if you call somebody a criminal, you can say something about it if you're alleging criminal activity. Where the Epstein file makes it slightly different is because his inclusion in the Epstein file, even though, as we've talked about, doesn't really mean anything, it gives Nicki a little more pause with the community to say, you know, he's in the Epstein file and everybody else thought that there might have been something into it. It might give her a little.
But the only reason that everybody thought that was because of the fact that they were under the assumption that the Epstein's file, if your name was being mentioned in the Epstein's file, that it was something bad. But like he said, and she said in the beginning, even if, and I'm going to keep using this example, even if, chat, Epstein went to the store and purchased a watermelon from your family member, from your mom's name would be in the Epstein's files. Don't forget that.
More leeway to make this leap. Where she could be helped would be where we always talk about is the damages element. Where are the actual damages that he has occurred because his name is in the Epstein file, and if you do a simple search, people are talking trash about him.
That is interesting. Then if he sued her for defamation, she could say, well, I didn't say something, present something as truth that I knew to be false. Because I saw this document, I had a genuine belief that this was the truth. So then it adds credence to that defense against a defamation lawsuit from Jay-Z, right?
And then there's one more level to that too. Actual malice, and you'll probably bring this up, is Nicki has a predisposed beef with Jay-Z.
Was she being malice about it though? Yeah, predisposed beef with Jay-Z. So was she being malice and malicious about the situation?
Jay-Z, and there might be she actually has actual malice. She might be trying to hurt him, and I don't want to jump the gun, but Nicki has a problem with him.
If you were Jay-Z's counsel and say, well, you have clear motive to want to defame Jay-Z. You have publicly stated multiple times that you think he owes you hundreds of millions of dollars. Does that matter when you're fighting a defamation case to go, well, actually, there is a narrative here, there is motive here, there's a reason she would have said that to benefit herself?
Absolutely, all comes in together, and because of her history, you have filed your own defamation lawsuits, multiple. You know that you cannot accuse somebody of committing a crime. You know that you have a personal beef with him. You used to be friends. This is clearly you going to the next level. We believe you understand, and this is defamation per se. Pay us money.
Now, I just want to quickly touch on the conversation me and you had before about whether Jay-Z should sue. And typically you said your advice would be no. But because of what happened in the past, and I just want to cast everybody's minds back to when Jay-Z was accused along with Diddy in a civil lawsuit of raping a teenage girl at a VMA's after party into the 2000s. Yeah. Jay-Z's response to that was to file a lawsuit against the accuser, to file a lawsuit against the lawyer, Tony Busby. And he spoke a lot, which he doesn't usually do, to the press. He said, those allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? His own heartbreak, he says, is for his family, his wife, and his children. So he spoke a lot, and then he followed through with legal action. Those lawsuits have all been dismissed now. The one accusing Jay-Z and Diddy, dismissed with prejudice, can never come back. The lawsuits Jay-Z filed against the accuser and Tony Busby, dismissed. But
so, filed the lawsuits, everything was dismissed. So why didn't he win the litigation? I want to know. What caused it to be overturned, to be dismissed?
Sean, in your opinion, because he did that, it now weakens his position with the Nicki tweets.
Everyone knows Jay-Z is notoriously silent and keeps to himself in a bubble and does not address these types of things. And when he came out so vocal against it, everyone's like, wow, Jay-Z never addresses these things. And he just went all in on it. And the problem is psychologically, and you have two problems. Public perception. When you have attacked one so big time and then start ignoring the rest, you have the people who say, well, why did he attack that one and he doesn't attack this one? Maybe he thinks it's true. And if he doesn't attack every case with the same vitriol he attacked the first one, I think it could hurt his reputation.
Yeah, Jay-Z's lost a lot of followers, so has Beyonce, his wife. I mean, social media users are quick to point out that the allegations that were in that lawsuit where he was accused with Diddy were so graphic and so awful that more so than what is said in this tip in the Epstein files, and that he specifically said that was hurting his family. And he referenced there, of course, Blue Ivy, his daughter, who was the same age as the alleged victim in that case. So there's an argument there for why he responded to that one and not this one. And now I've got another question for you from a listener, this one from Canada. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to...
Oh, Canada.
Shane Hollander. It says, isn't Nicki's brother in jail for molesting a child, and didn't she defend him? Sean, is this true? Maybe Jay-Z should point that out. Sean, can you give us a quick fact check on that?
Convicted of sexual assault, child endangerment, I think in like 2000.
Yes, that is true. Very much so true. Her brother was convicted. And she was supporting, rooting, holding him down, big fist in the air, you know?
17 for, and we don't have to say allegedly, convicted for the rape of an 11-year-old, like.
And there we go. We don't have to say allegedly on this one, you guys. Because that's all facts right there, chat. No allegedly on this one. No allegations being postponed. Nothing. It's all there.
In jail, like right now. There's a difference from testifying for somebody during a trial. There's a difference from testifying for somebody and say, I don't believe this happened. After they are convicted, something happened that is called sentencing, which means the eyes of the law says he did it. After sentencing, then Nicki then presented a letter or a testimony to the court supporting her brother. So the world can say that after sentencing, after he was convicted, after we know he did these things, she said, support him. He's a good person. Support him. You are supporting a pedophile yourself. You are openly doing it. You're writing letters. You're sending it to the court. You have to be careful with these type of things. Now, do I think Jay-Z should bring this up? This goes back to what I said earlier. No, you have to be careful getting, you know, the little phrase is, if you lie with dogs, you get fleas. You've got to be careful going back and forth with these types of things. So no, I would not do that. I appreciate the listener's question, but the background on what the listener said is absolutely accurate.
And look, that's Jelani Mirage, Nicki Minaj's brother. I mean, his counsel said that the accusations were false. He's obviously been convicted and said it was a cash grab. Nicki has tweeted to that effect as well, saying it was a cash grab by the young girl's family. But there was a wealth of evidence, including...
There was a wealth of evidence. You heard what she just said. Very much so, a wealth of evidence. Plentiful. Very much so. So that means he was convicted on his terms of him doing what he was accused of doing. Yeah. So Nicki's going to say it was a cash grab. Yeah, she's going to promote that to the day she leaves Earth. It was a cash grab. But nah, we the people, we know.
His DNA.
Yeah.
We'll
just leave it there.
Yeah. Sean, you have really...
Sam says, I'm going to use the word allegedly a lot. Oh, good cause. Your best bet. That's your best bet. Allegedly.
Bertley walked us through the unfolding landscape of everything that's happened since the Epstein files have been released, and then also what Nicki has tweeted and how people are reacting to Jay-Z and also Beyonce online. I just wonder, what do you think our listeners should take from this? The release of the Epstein files, but also the unfolding sort of backlash of what we've seen here.
What we should take from it, from my point of view, is the danger of a lack of information, the danger of supposition, the danger of guessing because of the lives that can actually be destroyed. If you look at a couple such as, and they're not the only names in the list, but if you look at a couple such as Jay-Z and Beyonce, who have decades of years of capital to the world. Beyonce has the Beehive, Jay-Z, and all these other situations. And one rumor included inside of a list can destroy all of that capital without more. And so that is the danger you have to worry about, is be careful of just simply saying they're in the list, they must be awful people, because it can destroy careers, it can destroy lives. And we're talking about very rich and very famous and very powerful people, billionaires. Imagine the victims.
Now, chat, I can't lie. I can't lie, chat. When I hear anything, well, at first, when I heard anything being attached to these Epstein files, it was downhill, murder she wrote. So now I have to just take it with a grain of salt. That's all. You have to do your due diligence, chat. Make sure you do your due diligence. That's all. Because we're not getting everything. They're not pushing out everything. They have an agenda to uphold, and they're not trying to give it all to the public. And yes, we are the public.
Imagine the children. Imagine just the random John Q. Public name who is mentioned inside of there, because if that can destroy the reputation of a Jay-Z and a Beyonce, what could it do to just the random individual who is mentioned inside of there, who is just one day is like, hey, I saw your name mentioned in the Epstein list. What are people automatically going to be thinking about that?
Yeah, exactly. And also
they're going to fire them from Walmart immediately. They're going to fire them from the corner store immediately. Whatever NC job that lady had, they're going to fire her immediately. You working at the hospital, they're going to fire you immediately. Allegedly.
onto that, Jay-Z's name was mentioned, Beyonce's wasn't.
Absolutely.
There's no charge there to begin with. Sean, thank you so much for coming on and walking us through that today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, per usual. I appreciate you.
That was our resident trial attorney, Sean Kent, joining us from South Carolina. And that's it for this episode of Fame Under Fire. Make sure...
Wowzers. So, chat, did y'all know? Did y'all know that? The grocery store clerk could be named in the Epstein's files? Did y'all know? No. So anybody could be named in these
Texas
files.
Republicans have passed legislation
and
to
y'all don't
redraw
forget
the
that
state's
because of the fact that
map.
Our democracy is
can
facing
go
an emergency,
down anywhere
an
with
unprecedented
anybody.
effort to pack
But,
Congress.
like they
Virginians
said prior
can restore
to,
fairness
if
with a
the name-
temporary
your name
measure
is
to level the
mentioned,
playing field.
It
Vote
could be
yes
very
for
drastic
fair
for
elections.
your lifeline, for just your daily.
I often get asked,
everything.
why
So,
should I go solar? So homeowners
like I
ask me
said
this, building owners ask
before,
me this.
take it with a grain of
There's a
salt.
lot of
Don't just take everything that you hear
On
and run with it.
January
And
30th,
then
the
also
department-
do your due diligence. Do your due diligence, chat. Make sure you do your due diligence. Because without it, you're just going to be in the world of nothing, of not knowing. Allegedly, you know? Yeah, Sam. Allegedly. Yeah, indeed. Oh, man. Got to use that. Make sure you use that, indeed. Can't go around saying any slander or put anybody's name. Just, you have to make sure. Allegedly, you know? One time for the one time. Now we got some more info jumping off. Everything's in chronological order. We going off so we can just give y'all the details, you know, of what's what in the who's who, you know? Big feed. Walk with me. Appreciate everybody here tapping in with the kid. If you haven't already, double tap that screen, like and subscribe. This is the A Society where we don't break the content. We just, you know, break the content down, you know? We're growing. We're a small channel, but in a couple, we're going to be where we need to be. Well, not where we need to be, but where we want to be. That's all. Because I'm right where I need to be, and that's right here with y'all. Appreciate y'all.
of Justice released 3.5 million pages of unredacted Epstein files. After years of flukes and limited releases, they gave people just enough to have something to talk about. From the new drop, we see the usual suspects like Bill Gates and Prince Andrew, but buried in the FBI national threat logs are names that the people weren't expecting to see. Elon Musk, Jay-Z, and Pusha T. For years, the industry whispered about Jay-Z being just like Epstein. But this isn't a theory anymore. We have heard the industry whispers about the connections between the elite and the entertainment world, and now we're seeing the proof. Proof people can't simply deny. Reports from 1996 and 2007 that the feds kept in a dark...
Grand Rising, happy Friday. It is Friday the 13th, y'all. I don't know anybody on a suspicious notation, but make sure you drive safe. Everything you do is safe today, you know, like you do any other day. Appreciate y'all.
for decades. Today we're breaking down the actual documents, but more importantly, we're asking the questions the mainstream media won't touch. Why are these names being served up as the ultimate sacrificial lambs?
Tonight, the Justice Department releasing more than 3 million pages of documents related to convicted Senator Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump's name referenced hundreds of times.
It's an enormous trove of documents, and it includes references to some of the richest and most powerful people on the planet. That includes the current president, a former president, cabinet secretaries, a former prime minister, billionaires, and the list goes on and on and on.
Including videos, photos, and email correspondences mentioning Elon Musk, former President Bill Clinton, Howard Lutnick, Bill Gates, and President Trump.
Unfortunately for Jay, they're saying that he's in the Epstein files. It's very embarrassing, it's very dark, and it's very grim. But it's not just Jay-Z, they're also saying that King Push, all right? King Push, Pusha T himself is apparently in the Epstein files too.
King Push from the 757 himself. Gosh almighty. Allegedly.
Not believe what I'm saying.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
To understand why his NTOC logs, the Black Book was Epstein's personal phone book where all the crimes were documented. The NTOC logs, those are the reports from people calling into the FBI to report what they saw. For decades, the Department of Justice kept these investigative files hidden, but for a calculated reason that we will be getting into soon, they have decided to release these new files now. The reason they are releasing these NTOC logs now without hesitation is because this isn't considered factual evidence. They are saying these are just unverified reports people called in of suspected crimes.
And that's crazy with the tip hotline. They could just call, say what they want to say, and they could have put you, chat, they could have put every single last one of y'all in the Epstein's files. And that's not alleged. That's facts.
Not actual proof of any of these crimes actually taking place. By releasing these unverified tips, the Department of Justice gives the media big names like Jay-Z to obsess over, knowing they can be seen as factual evidence. It's a calculated stunt to direct the conversation towards the people they've already decided to sacrifice. For years we have been examining the flight logs, but that was just a manifest of who traveled. The real crimes these people participated in were kept under seal by the Department of Justice. But all of a sudden, they have chosen to put out some big names. Think about that. In these NTOC logs is where the music industry's elite finally appear. Let's start with Jay-Z. One of the most explosive reports in this new drop dates back to approximately 1996. According to the victim's statement to the FBI, she was abducted from her home and woke up drugged in what she believed was Jeffrey Epstein's Florida mansion. But it's who she saw when she woke up that has everyone talking. She identified two men in the room, Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z. Think about that for a second. In 1996, Jay-Z was just releasing Reasonable Doubt. He wasn't the billionaire mogul we know today. He was an upcoming artist from Brooklyn. The first question we have to ask is, how did a rapper get a seat at a table that included Jeffrey Epstein and the most powerful man in Hollywood? The second question is, if Jay-Z is being accused of being involved with Epstein, is it still far-fetched to believe he did something to a 13-year-old with Diddy? We all remember Jay-Z was sued by a woman accusing him of essaying her when she was 13. Jay-Z made it all go away using powerful lawyers and private investigators. Even though the victim eventually backtracked on her comments, she admitted it was only after Jay-Z was sending private investigators to stalk and intimidate her. It seems that all the stories of Jay and young girls might be true after all. This report suggests that connections between the music industry and the elite was not a conspiracy theory, but the reality. It also proves that these industry gatekeepers are clearly chosen well in advance. That's the only way Jay-Z ended up in the same room as Epstein back in the 1990s. But Jay-Z isn't the only guppy being served up in these logs. If you thought the 1996 report was a red flag, you need to see what the FBI was told about Pusha T.
They digging in the crates, y'all. Those files don't have I would say a stop date on it. But Jay-Z and Pusha T, man. Sam says, have you saw Papoose this on 50 Cent? Nah, as far as today, I saw a little bit of it and I was gonna finish it up, and then I was probably gonna cover it if it was, interesting enough for the people.
In these newly unsealed documents, the allegations take a turn that is arguably even more sinister. According to a complaint logged in the FBI's National Threat System, a victim didn't just place Pusha T at a party, she identified him as a handler. Think about that word for a second. In the context of these files, handlers are described as the people assigned to establish close friendships with potential victims. Their job...
So people, the handlers of the island are the ones that bring the children, kids, whomever. We're just going to say the victims. I'd rather say that bring the victims to the island, that get them there. They're like poachers of the world, the human poachers of the world, I would say.
Was to build trust and lower the victim's guard to make the process easier. The reports detail a party in 2007 where the victim claims she was drugged, clouding her memory. She explicitly identifies Pusha T as one of the individuals who acted as a handler and was present when all the abuse took place. If these DOJ records are true, he isn't just another street rapper, he is a handler for the elite. This is how a rapper with a mediocre career ends up in the elite circles with Jay-Z and Kanye. All of this seems to confirm the link between the music industry and the elite. It's not just internet speculation anymore. Just like Jay-Z in '96, this 2007 report on Pusha T was kept under lock and key by the feds for nearly 2 decades. And just like the Jay-Z file, the Department of Justice is quick to remind us that these are just unverified tips. This brings us back to the fall guys. Why give the public names like Pusha T and Jay-Z? Well, because they are the perfect distraction. They are huge names in hip-hop and pop culture that would make the story viral. By letting the
Very much so. Mention Jay-Z on the Epstein's file, it's going to be spoken about. Mention Pusha T on the Epstein's file, it's going to be spoken about. Even if Pusha T was the one who wiped off his rims for that day and he paid Pusha T for that job service, his name is in the Epstein's file.
World obsessed over whether a rapper was a handler in 2007. The people who actually funded the operation get to step back into the shadows. They're giving you just enough truth to keep you from looking at the bigger fish, all while still protecting the guppies in a way. Because these are just unverified reports, no criminal investigation is going to happen and the celebrities get to deny it all. After a few months of talking about it, it would all go away and they will go back to business as usual. This is clear evidence that Epstein was deeply engraved into the Hollywood system, and these celebrities are far more deeper involved than they want us to believe. If Jay-Z and Pusha T files are the distraction, then Gates and Musk are the sacrifice. This is where we move away from unverified hotline tips and into the FBI's digital archive.
So if they're the distraction, Gates and Elon are the sacrifice, allegedly. So who's on the higher bracket than those guys?
Specifically, Jeffrey Epstein's own email logs and draft folders. Unlike the music industry claims, which were external reports, these documents are internal. They show how Epstein viewed his relationship with the most powerful men in tech, Bill Gates and Elon Musk. And the picture it paints reveals the truth about these billionaires. Let's go.
I'm Sora 2, the new AI in town.
Wow.
We're not afraid. Artlist got them all.
Sora 2.
Let's go into the Bill Gates files first. We have heard for years that Gates claimed he regretted his dinners with Epstein, but these new documents from July 2013 suggest a much darker reality. The Department of Justice released a series of draft emails where Epstein is essentially writing a script for blackmail. In one note, Epstein claims to have helped Gates secure drugs to deal with the consequences of encounters with Russian girls, essentially accusing Gates of having partaken in the island's offerings. But it goes deeper. The files mention a plan to covertly provide antibiotics to Gates' then wife, Melinda, to cover up an alleged STI. A spokesperson for Gates called these claims absolutely absurd, but at this point, why would we believe anything he has to say? For years, he said he did nothing illegal with Jeffrey. He claims they only spoke about business and philanthropy, but according to these new release files, Gates likely did things he wouldn't want the world to know about. Remember the ages of the girls Epstein was known to him.
So the whole time, he was denying the fact that he didn't speak with him about anything other than business. But now that these redacted emails have been surfaced, he hasn't made a statement about that yet. But I would like to know what's going on.
Around. Now, think about what Epstein is accusing Gates of participating in. That alone shows you how much of a liar he is. Looking at the documents, you see Epstein's strategy. He wasn't just a friend offering a good time. He was an evil mastermind who used some rich people's perverted fantasies as leverage. By documenting these alleged hookups and medical cover-ups, Epstein was collecting enough dirt to make sure he had the elite on a leash, just like we saw with the Elon Musk connection. Musk spent years on X claiming he refused Epstein's invitations, but the new Epstein drop contains the actual email logs between the two in 2012 and 2013 that tell a completely different story. In November 2012, Epstein emails Musk asking how many seats he needs for a helicopter to his island. Musk doesn't say
how many seats. It's just gonna be, it's just gonna be me and a couple of Jan, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Damn it. Mr. Musk. And this is a man that can take a rocket to space without the permission of the president.
No, he replies, probably just Tallulah and me. What day night will be the wildest party on your island? Fast forward to December 2013, and Musk is emailing Epstein once again asking, is there a good time to visit? They even settled on a date, January 2nd. While there's no definitive proof in this specific file that Elon ever made it onto the island, the emails prove.
Okay, so there's no proof that he actually made it to the island, but the emails do prove that they were tangible and they were going back and forth with each other about him going to the island. But this was denied by Elon the whole time. Walk with me.
That the refusal Musk claimed for years was actually an attempt to erase history. He wasn't avoiding Epstein, he was looking for the wildest party. Think about that. At this point in time, Epstein was already a convicted PDF file. He was known for running around with young girls. Why would someone like Elon Musk want to party with him? Well, if you know anything about Elon, then you know he likes massages almost as much as Epstein. In fact, some of you might recall, he was sued by a former flight attendant who worked at SpaceX for just that reason. The flight
And that's not allegedly, people. That's big fact.
attendant alleged that during a flight to London in 2016, Musk asked her to his private cabin for a full-body massage. She claimed that Musk then showed her his little Elon, touched her leg without consent, and offered
His little Elon touched her without consent. Wowzers.
to buy her a horse in exchange for favors. In 2022, reports emerged that Elon Musk and SpaceX paid the flight attendant $250,000 in 2018 to settle the claim. Hearing this, is it really that surprising that Musk was eagerly trying to attend Jeffrey's wildest parties? He attempted to go to the island not once, but twice. To me, the fact that there are two emails where he's asking to go to the island suggests he likely visited once, enjoyed the massages so much that he wanted to go back a second time. While the DOJ is giving us the music industry tips to keep us distracted, they are giving us the tech elite emails because they can no longer hide the paper trail. These
Moni says all of this is in the files. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Moni. All of it's in the files. Everything that's being surfaced right here is located within the Epstein's file, and it can be found online.
These are the people whose relationships with Epstein have already been firmly established. Epstein was a master of blackmail. He wrote down everything he had on these men as insurance. So if the Department of Justice is finally showing us how Epstein leveraged the richest men in the world, we have to ask, who are they still protecting in the millions of pages that remain redacted? If Gates and Musk are being exposed now, who is the big fish that is so important they're willing to burn the world's richest men to keep them safe?
Exactly. That is my point exactly. That's what's on my brain right now. If they're willing to burn Elon, Bill Gates out of there, who in the world are they hiding? It may be someone that we as the public don't even know.
Now, I don't want people to think I'm skipping over Donald Trump, as his name was also mentioned several times in these new files. In these files, there were some seriously dark accusations about the man leading the free world. So dark, I can't really get into them on YouTube. But don't worry, I am already working on a deep dive into these accusations that will be dropping in the next few days over on my Patreon. If you're one of my members, you can expect that soon. If you're not a member, you can become one by hitting the link in the comment section or in the description. But as we look at these names, Jay-Z, Pusha T, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates, we have to look at what isn't being shown. 3.5 million pages were released on January 30th, but thousands of those pages are still covered in black ink. These are the
Still covered in black ink. Redacted, redacted, redacted. It's a lot that they're not showing. And it's a lot that they haven't shown. And what they have shown is like mostly redacted and blacked out. But we as the public people, we know what we know because of the fact that they released it to us. So it's like, I'm going to push out this narrative because of the fact that I know that we can. I know that the people are going to listen, and that's what it is. Reactions.
redaction games. Throughout the end of 2025, dozens of high-profile John Does fought in federal court to keep their names out of this specific dump. And while the media wants you to focus on the rappers and the tech moguls, they're ignoring the names that the Department of Justice is still willing to go to war to protect. If the government is willing to hand us the unverified reports on a billionaire like Jay-Z, or the email logs of the world's richest man, Elon Musk, you have to ask, who is bigger than them that they're trying to protect? This is the sacrificial lamb technique. In any massive scandal, the system eventually reaches a breaking point where it can no longer hide everything. When that happens, the architects of the system choose who to throw overboard to satisfy the public's hunger for the truth. They give the people some names to direct their anger and disgust towards, while the worst of them all get away with it. By serving up the music industry and the tech elite, the Department of Justice creates a mission accomplished moment. They give you just enough evidence to feel like the investigation is fully moving forward, while the politicians, the intelligent assets, and the true architects of Epstein's operation remain safely hidden behind those black bars of redaction and the other cover-up methods. The truth is, the 2026 Epstein files aren't a victory for transparency. They're a masterclass in narrative control. They gave us the names we already suspected, so we stopped looking for the names of the worst monsters of them all.
Very much so. Little guppies. Little guppies. But the sharks in the water, they don't want to release.
Jay-Z and Pusha T might be in the logs, Musk and Gates might be in the emails, but none of this is 100% proof of what we all know they did. They made sure to release just enough to satisfy but not convict. The story shouldn't end with just who went to the island. It should end with who helped build the system Jeffrey operated in, and why the government is still protecting them 30 years later. What do you think about all of this? Are you at all surprised to see names like Jay-Z and Pusha T in the files? Or were you expecting this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would be reading each one. If you like real content that isn't...
I wasn't expecting anything to be coming directly from anybody or to be any said person, you know? It was just that whoever was labeled and whoever was there, it was what it was. Now, I did not know, as far as the information being given, that it was said that it was, how could I say? The hotline was involved. Now, with that hotline, anybody could have called and said anything and placed you at the scene, any scene, or said anything of that nature, and your name would have been placed in the Epstein's file. So, with that being said, how many of you guys knew that the Epstein's file had the hotline and that anyone could be mentioned? If you had any type of dealings with Epstein, your name could be mentioned and thrown within the sauce. That's a big wowzer to me and a big eye opener, because I don't know. I don't know. At all. Got me flabbergasted over here. Because I really...
Henry, when will I see you again?
I don't know, Abigail. All I know is that I love you forever.
That I didn't, but...
Kiss me one last time.
When the name, any name was attached to the Epstein file...
No matter how it happens, if I get...
automatically assumed...
hit
under great assumption that...
Stop scrolling.
It was
Start
all
shredding.
bad.
Try Mo's new barbacoa.
Like every single detail, it was all bad. Just because that I didn't do my due diligence and I didn't know.
What's going on?
to the core of
intimacy's been missing.
What the files entail all the way.
I want to talk to you a little.
You know, we live, we learn, and today's a new day. And don't forget to use the word allegedly when you're discussing anything about anybody going on anywhere. Allegedly. Now we have one more for y'all to get to. We can lock that in. Appreciate everybody being here with the kid. Welcome to the A Society, where we break the content. Well, we don't break the content. We just break down the content, you know? And that's what I'm trying my best to do for y'all. Break it down so y'all can get it into pieces and take it on and have a good meal to be served up.
Bit about race. Your music some too. I thought the song Talking to OJ was particularly powerful.
Where
I took the message as you can be rich, you can be poor, you're still black. Who were you speaking to? Who did you want to listen to that and be moved by it?
It's a nuanced song, you know. It's like I'm specifically speaking to us and about who we are and how do you maintain the sense of self while pushing it forward and holding us to have a responsibility for our actions. Because in America, it is what it is. And there's a solution for us. If we had a power base together, it would be a much different conversation than me having a conversation by myself and trying to change America by myself. If I come with 40 million people, it's a different conversation, right? It's just how it works. I can affect change and get whomever in office because this many people, we're all on the same page. Right? So as a conversation, it's like, I'm not rich, I'm OJ. For us to get in that space and then disconnect from the culture. That's how it starts. This is what happens. And then you know what happened? You're on your own and you see how that turned out. Okay. That's why that's the line. Yeah, the pregnant pause. It's like, okay.
Was it a reminder too that the thing OJ forgot, maybe, is that as rich as he was, as entitled as his life was, he was reminded very forcefully when he became a subject of a racial debate that he was also a black man, whether he accepted that or not.
That's right.
Was it also that message?
Yes, absolutely. And for us, like I'm saying, to speak to that point is, don't forget that, because that's really not the goal. The goal is not to be successful and famous. That's not the goal. The goal is, if you have a specific God-given ability, is to live your life out through that. One. And two, we have a responsibility to push the conversation forward until we're all equal. Until we're all equal in this place, because until everyone's free, no one's free. And that's just the fact.
When you are as amazingly successful as you are, your kids will live in a very different world from the world you grew up in. How do you go about making sure that they understand the world you grew up in?
There's a delicate balance to that, right? Because you have to educate your children on the world as it exists today and how it got to that space. But my child doesn't need the same tools that I needed growing up. I needed certain tools to survive my area that my child doesn't need.
Very much so, and that's what we do it for. For any parents out there, that's what you do it for. You do it so that your kids' can be wonderful in life, you know? You take the things that you learned in life and try to instill those things into them and try to provide the best life for them possible.
They've grown up in a different environment, but also they have to know their history, have a sense of what it took to get to this place, and have compassion for others. The most important thing, I think, out of all this is to teach compassion and to identify with everyone's struggle and to know these people made these sacrifices for us to be where we are and to push that forward for us I believe that's the most important thing to show them, because they don't have to know things that I knew growing up, like being tough. Like,
do you worry at all that as much as you will teach them history, and as much as you yourself is seen as an important figure among?
What's up, Estimo?
And that's the thing. You had to walk or crawl, whichever, you know, so your kids can run. The great thing about being a parent, a father, I should say, is that my kids would never have to go through the things that I went through in life. At all. It's like a breath of fresh air to know that they are well taken care of. They are doing so many things that I was not able to do growing up, as far as being in different types of programs, all of the above, all of the above, all of the above, just living their life to the max. And that's what it's about. Shout out to all the parents, all the good parents in the building. We appreciate y'all, and definitely the kids appreciate y'all too. The big way.
Mr. Man, Jay-Z break his silence about his success, his wealth, and his upbringing, coming up in the rap game, coming from humble beginning, and how far he came from to reach where he reached. His motivation, keep pushing, get the bag, and made it out of the projects, man. This interview is very interesting, man. You need to watch the full video. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get it.
Black people in America, that there's something they'll be missing, or do you think that's silly, in fact, that they have so many advantages that's like too negative a way of approaching?
Exactly. Like they'll be who they are, right? And it's just certain tools that you would for your child to have. Compassion, and like empathy, and a loving heart, and those things translate in any environment. Those are the main basic things you want. Well, for me, I want my child to have. You know, to treat people as they are, no matter who they are, no matter where they sit in the world. Now,
always. You treat the owner of the restaurant the same way you treat the person that's sweeping the floor. No one's bigger than anyone, because everyone collectively makes it grow, you know? So always show compassion to others, always show your heart, show kindness to others, and hopefully that you get the same in return.
Not to like be super nice to someone at a high position, or mean to someone who they deem to be below them.
See?
I can't buy you love. I can't show it to you.
Exactly.
I can show you affection, and I can, you know, I can express love, but I can't put it in your hand.
Right.
I can't put compassion in your hand. I can't show you that.
Right.
So the most beautiful things are things that are invisible. That's where the important things lie.
For me, as a black man of a certain age, when I was a kid, O.J. Simpson was God. I'm 61, so I was a little kid when he was. Do you expect black people and white people and young people and old people to hear different things in your music? I'm sure I heard some things in that song that you may not even have thought of, because I'm a different generation. What do you want a young white kid to hear in that song that maybe a young black kid would not hear?
That's a great question. I think when you make music, you want people to hear it and hear different things, and then you want it to start a dialogue, because that's how we get to understanding. Excuse me. Oh, you felt that way about it. This is actually what I meant, because this happened and these things happened that led to me saying this.
Sam, appreciate you. Have a good one. Thank you for stopping past. Always. The next one will be shortly soon. Thank you. Appreciate you. Big shout outs to you.
Specific thing.
How did you react when that one line in that song where you referred to Jews and wealth? Some people got upset. How did you feel about that?
I felt it was really hypocritical. Only because, I mean, it's obvious the song is like, you want to be rich, do what people who got rich done. Of course, it's a general statement, right? It's obviously a general statement. Like the video attached to it was a general statement. And if you didn't have a problem with the general statement I made about black people and people eating watermelon and things like that, that was fine. And that line about wealth bothered you, then that's very hypocritical. And, you know, that's something within yourself. Because basically I was saying, you know, Michael Jordan, LeBron James is a great basketball player. He trains in the off season. If you want to be great, train in the off season like him. That's basically the statement. And you can't miss the context of the song. You have to be like 5 years old or something.
Some people think that the election of Donald Trump
have to be 5 years old to miss the concept. Allegedly.
Trump has revived the debate of race in America.
Yeah.
Some people think that, in fact, there's always been racism in America, that it hasn't changed, and that the debate isn't any different, it's just people are paying attention to it.
Yeah, there was a great Kanye West line in one of the songs, and he said, racism's still alive, they just be concealing it. Take a step back. I think when Donald Sterling got kicked out of the NBA, I thought it was a misstep. Because when you kick someone out, of course he's done wrong, right? But you also send everyone else back in hiding. People talk like that. They talk like that. Let's deal with that. Yeah, and I wouldn't just like leave him alone. I don't have that solution. There should have been some sort of penalties. He could have lost some draft picks. But getting rid of him just made everyone else go back into hiding. And now we can't have the dialogue. The great thing about Donald Trump being president is now we're forced to have the dialogue. And now we're having the conversation on a large scale. He's like provided the platform for us to have the conversation.
And you think that's better? That we should be having the conversation?
Absolutely. That's why this is happening.
Do you think the debate over race in America is happening in a healthy way?
Well, an ideal way is to have a president that says, I'm open to the dialogue and fixing this. That's ideal, but it's still happening in a good way, because you can't have a solution until you start dealing with the problem.
There we go. Once you figure out the problem and you start directing the problem as it is, then you can find a solution to it.
What you reveal, you heal. Right? If I have like a tumor and I ignore it, doesn't mean it goes away. I have to diagnose it first, no matter how it happens. If I get hit with a football and like, oh, I feel something there, and then I go to the doctor, it still happened. You know what I'm saying? So however it happens, and we just get hit with a lot of football. To use an analogy that goes next to the NFL.
If you were owner, you would sign Colin Kaepernick, right?
Yeah, I dedicated the story of OJ to him at Meadows concert.
Have you met him?
No, we just had dialogue over the phone. We told him to get together.
Do you have any doubt that if this not had happened, he would be signed by a team?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think basketball is more politically active than football players?
Yeah.
And why? Why is that?
I think, first of all, it's smaller numbers. There's 12 people on the team. In football, you have 53 people, so it's harder to get 53 people thinking the same thing. It's easier to have a conversation to get 12 people on the same page, for one. Two, they have a great commissioner who's really open and you know, supports them. And you feel that. You feel like, you know, when you have someone behind you that really believe in what's right, it motivates you to do the right thing. I think those two factors show why they're much further along.
Are there incidents even at this stage in your life? So you're famous, you're rich, you own stuff, where you run into racism that's evident to you, that's easy to recognize at this stage of your life?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But it mostly comes when you try to challenge the status quo. If I'm being quiet and entertaining, everyone's cool. Ah, man, it's great. You don't feel racism. But when you try to challenge the club, it's like, oh, no, we should have a seat at this, to use the Solange album title. We should have a seat at this table. And then it gets into a space where it's like, wait, you guys are mad at me about the same thing you guys are doing. And it's just, it gets into a weird space.
Are you in meetings now in your business life where you're the only black man in the room?
Well, when I was doing the Nets, I was definitely the only black guy in the room.
And what was that like? Describe that.
It's strange, but at the same time, I think that in that room, my celebrity allowed me a voice that probably would have been awkward for someone in my position, being the only black person in the room, to break through.
This album sounds to me like a therapy session. It's in the sense, have you been in therapy?
Yeah.
First off, how does Jay-Z find a therapist? Not in the phone book, right?
No, dude, great friends of mine, friends of mine who've been through a lot and, come out on the other side as like whole individuals.
What was that like being in therapy? What did you talk about that you had never acknowledged to yourself or talk about?
I grew so much from the experience. But I think the most important thing I got is that everything is connected. Every emotion is connected and it comes from somewhere. And just being aware of it in everyday life puts you at such an advantage. You realize that, if someone's racist toward you, it's not even about you. It ain't about you. It's about their upbringing and what happened to them and how they led them to this point. Most bullies bully.
Groovy says, topic, trying to see where you're going with this. You missed the main meats and potatoes of the live, my brother. But this is going towards why Jay-Z feels a certain way as far as why he feels like he's being attacked. That's all. So you will have to catch the beginning of the live, my brother. Follow up. Everything's in chronological order with me. So start from the beginning, work your way to here, and then you'll be all caught up.
It's happened. Oh, you got bullied as a kid, so you're trying to bully me. I understand.
Right.
And once I understand that, instead of reacting to that with anger, I can provide a softer landing. And maybe, oh man, are you okay? I was just saying, there was a lot of fights.
And one more thing, Sam. Did you look at the thumbnail? Did you read the title? It's all there, my brother. You just got to catch on up. That's all. You're just a little bit late. That's all. You're just a little bit late. That's all.
Our neighborhood that started with, what you looking at? Why you looking at me? You looking at me? And then you realize, you think I see you. You're in the space where you're hurting and you think I see you, so you don't want me to look at you. And you don't want me to see you in such a you don't want me to see your pain. So you put on this shell of this.
One more thing, let me pause on that, chat. And like we just learned on the last video, right, Groovy? When you're speaking of people, you gotta say allegedly, or they can sue you for defamation of character, bro. We had a big ball about that earlier, so we're gonna let you rock on out. I'm with it though, you dig what I'm saying? But at the same time, we gotta say allegedly. Welcome to Groovy. Yeah, there you go, Groove. There you go, Groove. Yeah, real deal. Allegedly. There you go.
Tough person that's really willing to fight me and possibly kill me because I looked at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so knowing that and understanding that changes life completely.
Was that a moment that came from therapy?
Yeah, just realizing that, oh my goodness, these young men coming from they're just in pain. But you got to survive. So you go into survival mode. And when you go into survival mode, what happened? You shut down.
Right.
You shut down all emotions.
Right.
So even with women, you got shut down emotionally, so you can't connect. And then now all the things happen from there. Infidelity.
You can't connect because you can't connect because of the way you feel about yourself, you mean?
Yes. In my case, like it's deep.
Right. You've bared your soul so much, not only in this album, and I mean you can.
Off topic, Moni says he needs to take that DNA. Gosh almighty, that DNA test was something. You talking about with Junior? Yeah, he looked just like him. Can't deny that. I think it's his, allegedly.
Sort of see the evolution of a person in your music. Part of me would think, oh my God, I gotta talk about my marriage, I gotta talk about my mother, I gotta talk about my other ancestors. Part of me would think that would make me nuts. Does it make you nuts, or do you feel like the heart of your art and storytelling is to tell the story of your life?
That's who I am. And I've done it from the beginning of my career. Two things, you know, one, no one knew the characters, so it wasn't as impactful, you know, and two, it wasn't coming from a place that was as evolved. And it's very difficult, you know, it's hard. It's hard to hear songs back. It's hard to perform songs, but I feel it's the most important work that I've done, and I'm very proud of it, and the effect that it's having on people, and even like the studio sessions, you know, we were having 4-hour conversations after playing one song. I learned so much about.
I wish I had a counter over here. God damn.
People that was around me, just my friends. I learned things about them that I didn't know. That in 20-year relationship, just from this one song. So I knew it would have that sort of impact beyond myself. It's my responsibility as an artist to go to these places.
Did your wife's own confessional album, which came out first, make it so that you had to be even extra confessional? I mean, in other words, it would have been hard after her album, which talked frankly about you guys to like have an album to come out that would be about
some frivolous anything. Yeah. It actually started out, we were working on material together, and it became Lemonade.
Yeah.
You know, she went off and did her thing, and it was like, it just felt like she should go first, and she should share her truths with the world. So it wasn't based on I have to say something because of this album. It wasn't even like that. It's just really honest.
But you probably couldn't have gotten away with, okay, you do the album Wife that talks about our pain. I'm gonna go do an album that talks about, you know, my love of art.
You never know.
Right.
I think it turned out for the best. I think, but you just never know, because people like to be entertained. Again, back to our president. You know what I'm saying? Like you would.
Gosh almighty. He and us to deficits, is he? Golly. Woo. He got to come up with another response. Somebody, PR is definitely going down. Damn it, Bobby. Shout out to Carol in the building. We appreciate you for being here. Welcome to the A Society. If you haven't already, chat, double tap that screen one time. Double tap that screen. Like and subscribe to the boy. This is the A Society, where we do not break the content. We just, you know, break the content down. That's all. Appreciate y'all once again.
Man, after the composed manner at which Obama stood at that podium, the dignity he brought to that place, that this couldn't exist, but it does.
Do you have any disappointments in Obama? There are people who say the expectations of him as the first black president were so great. He was supposed to get rid of racism and fix everything. Is that unfair? Do you think, did he live up to all of your expectations?
Yes, because all he can do is the best he can do. He's not a superhero. And it's unfair to place unfulfillable expectations on this man just because of his color. You're actually doing the opposite.
He hit him with the double.
It's like,
okay,
what do you think is going to happen? He's there for 8 years, and he has to undo what 43 presidents have done in 8 years. It's not fair.
What do you think of the state of, I'm not going to say just black leadership period, on the things you care about in the country? Who do you look at and say, this man or woman speaks for the things I care about?
It's going to be funny, but I find it funny, but my leadership, I like Dave Chappelle's.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying?
You're going to vote for Dave Chappelle for president?
Because he tells it in humor so you can deal with it, but it's always a nice chunk of truth in there.
Is there a part of you, because you have a certain amount of money, that gets a little more conservative, or does having money not change your politics?
Yeah.
Moni says Beyonce was 15 when she and Jay-Z started dating. Allegedly. Let's get back to it.
No, because I'm not. I believe in people. You know, I want what's best for people. I love people. You know, so I don't have that sort of thing like I want to vote Republican just to save more money. That's not the end game. It's not about who got more money and who got more houses. Yes, you know, you've earned it. Buy what you want. You know, but don't forget what's important. Without people, and being rich would be very boring. No one to share with, no one to have. You know what I mean? Like just be a rich person, one person on the planet. Just like, well, then what do you do?
When I heard this latest album, and then I thought about the earlier albums, one theme is sort of reaching the promised land. You know, you've acquired influence, and not just money, but your life is good. And then when you listen to the newest album, you're thinking, he must have been in a lot of pain when life was good.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Yeah, I did listen to a song called Song Cry. And the idea of the hook, never seen it coming down my eyes, but I got to make the song cry. It tells you right there what I was hiding. And the strongest thing a man can do is cry. To expose your feelings, to be vulnerable in front of the world. That's real strength. You know, you feel...
Oh, man, chat. I don't mean to pause it, but I'm pausing just because he's humming us to get... We just gonna call him Senor Senor is going in over there with the He's even doubling up on the Golly.
Like, you gotta be this guarded person. That's not real. It's fake.
Does that mean you were unhappy during that period and didn't have a handle on it, or what?
Well, you compartmentalize, right? So you can be inside your body and be happy, but at the core of it, something else is going on.
Right. As a, parent, I thought one of the most painful scene or line or whatever in the album was when you are talking about having almost lost your marriage, and you talk about what it would have been like to watch another man play football with your kid. I thought that is like, given that you have talked so much about your life and your music, are there things
Shout out to Damien, we appreciate you.
I'm not going to talk about that. You've talked about the pain of growing up, where you grew up, how you grew up, your father leaving early, the pain of your marriage, being in therapy. Are there things you say, I'm not going there?
Yeah, and it mostly involves other people, because when other people are involved, you have to also, you may be ready to expose these things, and there's certain parts of, it's also other people's truth as well. A perfect example.
I don't know, Bridget V4S. You're tired, baby. Wake on up. It's time to get that info input. Yeah. One time for the one time. Get it up in ya. Drink your coffee, Red Bull or something. One shot, 2 shots, 3 shots. Everybody wake up Bridget one time. You all right, Ms. Mel? Have a...
was my mom.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about
when I didn't have permission to do that song first. So just like we had a beautiful conversation. When did you realize your mother was gay? Really early on. When
as a little kid?
Not. Let's say call it teenage years.
So you realized it and talked to her about it? What was that?
We never spoke about it.
Shout out to Daryl. We appreciate you for the subscribe. Thank you, Daryl. One time for the one time. Welcome to the A Society, my boy.
It just exists. It was there. Everyone knew.
Gotcha.
But we never spoke about it until, like, recently. Now we start having these beautiful conversations and just really like getting to know each other. We were always good friends, but now we're like really great friends, And we were just talking as friends, and then she was sharing that she was in love. And I guess there's years of like feeling for her and feeling like she's free. She can be herself. She doesn't have to hide for her kids or be feeling she's embarrassing her kids. It's a much different time then. Don't just think about...
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
She can just live her full life, her whole life, and be her.
Don't upload your videos to YouTube, upload to Restream, where we
Groovy
live
says,
stream
SM
it to
Groovy
YouTube
says, I
and
never had a
all your
problem with
platforms
the
at once.
opposites in
Get
their
ready for
agenda
5
because I was
times more
taught correct by our
engagement and views.
ancestors.
Oh,
But
the algorithms
there's nothing
love
really
streams
when
and
your
engagement,
true
rewarding
quiet
you with
enemy
even more views.
looks like
While
you.
Sure that was upload and stream from Restream.
Nothing more really written
Hold up, man.
than what
I
you
did
just
not-
wrote. Indeed, indeed, indeed. But hey, we as the people and as a people, we know not what we do, but what we consume from others. So it's a lot to be blamed upon, I would say, parental guidance, upbringing, different things of that nature. But once a person gets old enough to understand a little thing called life, I put the blame on you, you know? Put the blame on you. Not you per se, Groove, but the person indeed, you know? But the person indeed. And another big shout out to Durrell. We appreciate you, my guy, for the subscription. Welcome to the family. You are here. You are here. Red says Family Guy Gumbo to Gumbo episode. Yeah, he's and us to death over here, Reg. We try to try to work it all out with him, but you know, that's the way it goes. He So today's words are and allegedly. We gotta take those with us on today's chapters, you know? And shout out to the Ace Angel. Appreciate you to the ASAT. Miss Jess for sliding through. Let's get back to it.
I know that Jay-Z mom was gay, but this interview, man, Jay-Z touched on a lot of interesting topics. He talk about the presidents, he talk about his life, his upbringing, to being a star, to being one of the #1 rapper, to be successful in life. He put us on game, man. He teach a lot of knowledge in this interview, man. So I gotta have a lot of respect for Jay-Z because he's a good businessman and he's a good rapper. And he always have positive influence, man. But other than the other side of Jay-Z.
Shout out to Reggie B for the subscription. We appreciate you. Welcome to the Ace Society, my brother. Welcome to the family. Big shout out to Reggie B.
That no one do not see when they be doing a lot of shit in Diddy, selling out the black community, working for the elites, working for the white people. It is just crazy, man. But these ninjas did a lot for themselves, man. And they changed the game and changed the narrative as black men. But they've been doing a lot of shit that they should not be doing. So I still have to talk about these ninjas with a kind of respect, just because what they did for themselves and what they achieved, what they accomplished as a black man living in America. Not everyone in America can survive, because this game is a game that it's a fight to the top, man. If you're not fighting and not staying focused and not working for what you want, you will never achieve in America.
Xavier says, is this that Epstein Island? Well, where it says Einstein Island, but I think that you meant Epstein. But yeah, this is it derived from all the way at the beginning of the live till now. Everything's in chronological order. You can check it out from the beginning, but everything's wound up from there to here to where we are now. Appreciate you for tuning in. Groovy says salam. Salam alaikum, my brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
There's a lot of blackballing. There's a lot of people trying to stop you from winning. It is just crazy, man. But Jay-Z did good for himself.
We trying, Jess. We trying.
He deserves his props as a black man to achieve so much greatness. Comes with something. To get that type of power,
thank you, man.
You have to give up something, man. Either you sacrifice, you sell your soul. It's a game that everyone got to do, man. Either you give up something or you will not achieve. Everyone is a part of the club. Everyone is playing by the same book. Everyone is working together to be great. So it's a membership that everyone has to join if you want to be on.
So don't forget, you guys, anybody. Now you see all these people right here in this meeting. Got a little Kevy Kev. He's doing this 1 2 1 2. If any of those guys would have sent a text message, anything towards Epstein, their names would be in the Epstein file. Don't forget that. It could have been like, and I'm going to keep making this point, it could have been the lady at the supermarket selling the watermelons on the side. If Epstein purchased one watermelon from that lady, her name is in the Epstein's files.
Top, or you want to be person that got control and got power to do what they want to do, you have to join this club, man. But Jay-Z, yeah, he did a lot, and he's a great artist, great rapper.
Appreciate you, Moni.
But he did a lot of crazy shit that he needs to hold accountable for. It is what it is, man. Nothing is ever fair. All of the rich will survive. It's a cold game. Like, share, subscribe. It's the Monster Mind. Have a blessed day.
Can we just have an honest conversation real quick? Y'all are being mad ridiculous about this whole Jay-Z and Pusha T thing. Nobody is saying that they are absolutely innocent. In fact, if y'all were ever going to question Jay-Z, I would argue that it should have been during the Diddy trial. But when I said that, y'all wanted to fight. But what people are saying, people including me, is that them being the headlines for what came out was a distraction from what was actually in those files. And it absolutely was. Now, I'm not swearing for them because I don't know them. And I absolutely do believe that all of these men that used to hang with Diddy got some skeletons in their closet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. Your neck moving kind of ooh-wee-ish over there, allegedly. But we're going to keep it moving.
But in this current moment, when we're talking about the task at hand, they were absolutely used as a distraction, and y'all let them distract you. Now, if y'all was going to do all this deep investigation and this deep research, y'all should have been doing it during the Diddy trial, because they was all hanging out with Diddy when Diddy was doing what Diddy do. So nobody's saying that they're not guilty of anything.
What? Did y'all hear that tongue twister he just put on? During the Diddy trial, doing what the Diddy does, diddly doesn't does do. Okay.
Diddy when Diddy was doing what Diddy do.
What?
So, because they was all hanging out with Diddy when Diddy was doing what Diddy do.
Okay, tongue twister for the evening, y'all. Don't forget it. Doing what Diddy does when Diddy doing what Diddy do.
This is a call from an anonymous tip line. An anonymous, there's no evidence to back what's being said. So you can believe what you want about people, but we also have to stick to the facts.
I like making my podcast. I don't like making short clips of my podcast.
That was
so
a
the
major.
AI chooses the best clips, like maybe this one.
Actual and the factuals.
Y'all, Beyonce and Jay-Z is
Actuals and the factuals, people. Now, this right here is the last of the Mohicans for the evening. And the reason being why I saved this was because it's just a still shot. And also, this is something that I'm going to lead back up to tomorrow. They were said that an arrest warrant for Beyonce and Jay-Z was squashed by the higher ups, according to the Nigerian police officer. The Nigerian police officer broke way and came about and had some things to say about Jay-Z and Beyonce that happened. Allegedly. Don't forget that, people. Allegedly. Got to always put if you don't want to get hit with the defamation, always say, what? Allegedly. There we go. And we're going to lock on to this, and we're going to rock on out after this right here. I appreciate y'all for being in the building with me. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, double tap your screen. Welcome to the A Society, where we don't break the content. We just break the content down, you know? That's all. Appreciate y'all.
being accused of the unthinkable, y'all. The unthinkable. They're saying that they were directing this stuff that was taking place when they were allegedly hunting little ones, y'all.
Oh, she got it. Allegedly. Okay. She knows something. Allegedly. Got you. Yes, ma'am.
The unthinkable. They're saying that they were directing this stuff that was taking place when they were allegedly hunting little ones, y'all. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. They're saying the Nigerian police officers back at it again. And he is going into details telling more about the situation and now that how Beyonce and Jay-Z is being protected by higher ups. Y'all, Shidaka is hitting the fan. When I tell you it's hitting the fan, it's hitting the fan. And we're going to talk about it. Okay, y'all? So, hello and welcome to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. And thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To my day 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you all and welcome, welcome, welcome.
Very much
This
so.
video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, so everything is alleged, some is not. And the fair accuse is in my description box, y'all. So, let's get to it, y'all. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's get to it. So, I just did a video the other day about the Nigerian police officer that was exposing Jay-Z and Beyonce, saying that they were, you know, on that island over there, y'all, and doing the unthinkable. And they were in their country doing the unthinkable with little ones, y'all. Okay, word on the street is that they were not only, you know, watching, they participated, they directed, and they said they were laughing when people were being hunted, y'all. This is some crazy stuff coming up. This person is also saying that the elites is protecting them, that they wanted to, you know, get some justice for what Beyonce and Jay-Z was doing. And they said they reached out so that they can press charges and they have information and whatever on them. I hope they start releasing whatever they have. I'm gonna just be completely honest. I wanna, if this is true, leak the information. If this is true, leak it some type of way, because that's the only way that people going to, you know, is going to raise some eyebrows. Don't just go jump on here and talk about it. Show a little something. You know what I'm saying? Don't just cover up your face and talk. Show something. If you really have this proof that Jay-Z and Beyonce and them did this. Because other than that, people not going to listen. People just don't like Beyonce and Jay-Z. Okay? But if you call yourself, reached out to authorities or whatever, and they said drop it and all of this, because this is what this person is saying. Y'all, I'm about to let y'all listen to it. He is saying, and he's supposed to be a Nigerian police officer. He is saying that when they wanted to press charges against Beyonce and Jay-Z, they said that higher ups told them to drop it and leave it alone, y'all. Is everybody getting exposed? Because it's looking like everybody getting exposed right now. Listen to this mess right here, y'all.
Epstein done parts of our country.
Before we get into that, Red says, and maybe that also explains why Cole feel the way he does about Jay and why he keep it business. Jay has always been more about the business of hip hop than the culture. Yeah, it seems like to Jay the culture has, you know, had an immediate dying session, and he's always been more about the business, my brother. Always.
Into a playground for the super rich. Children, vulnerable kids from poor communities were taken.
Now, chat, if you can't hear exactly what he's saying, just hold tight. She's gonna rewind, break it down, and give you all the info that's needed for this here.
Stripped, released into isolated terrain and hunted like animals. Guns, dogs, helicopters. For sport. Survivors describe Jay-Z and Beyonce being there on at least 3 occasions, laughing, directing, even killing when the moment felt right. I'm an inspector with the Lagos State Police Command, 15 years on the force. I've seen corruption, I've seen crime, but nothing like this. We have names, dates, locations, credible enough to open a formal case. My team wanted to move fast, issue international arrest warrants, request Interpol red notices, question Jay-Z and Beyonce through diplomatic channels. We had enough to bring them in for questioning, to seek real justice for the victims and their families who still wait for answers. But then the calls started, not from Abua, from Aya, very high. The message was the same every time. Drop it. Shut the file. No further action. They said if we pursue this, if we name the celebrities or push for extradition, billions in development funds, health programs, security assistance would be gone overnight.
Oh.
Am I dreaming?
I think we are inside Kling 3.0.
accent
We
heavy.
have to be careful.
Real heavy.
Because anything can happen here.
I heard
Like
that
that?
ending though. Actually, everything would be gone overnight.
Okay, y'all. I'm gonna play this again and I'm gonna stop it, because some people be saying, "Oh, you talking through it." So I played it all the way through this time. So now I am going to break it up a little bit and talk about what he's saying, y'all, because this is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. Let's go, y'all.
Seeing that parts of our country into a playground for the
He said that Epstein has turned parts of that country into a playground.
super rich.
Epstein has turned parts of their country into a playground. God, Lee.
For the super rich. And I believe this because of the fact that these are such poor countries. When you got these poor countries that they don't have food and all this other stuff that we be seeing in the news and all of this stuff, when you have these poor countries, the rich tend to, I'm just saying, use that to their advantage. Okay, y'all? But this guy is saying that this turned their country into, some parts of their country into a playground. Okay, y'all? For the rich.
Children, vulnerable kids from poor communities were taken, stripped.
He said, little ones, y'all.
Hey Smurf, shout out to Smurf. Appreciate you for being here. Peggy says, what did Prince say? I have the slightest at the slightest. Good morning, Smurf.
Vulnerable ones were taken from their communities and they were put in their birthday suits, y'all. This is what he's saying. They were taken from their certain parts of the areas and they were put into their birthday suits, y'all. Pay attention to what he's saying.
Released into isolated area.
They were released into isolated areas, in an area where they were hunted, y'all.
And hunted like animals.
He said hunted like animals.
Guns, dogs, helicopters.
Weapons, dogs, and helicopters chased these little ones down. And they didn't even have anything on. So imagine probably running through wooded areas, whatever, it might be in rocks or whatever. They probably didn't have no shoes on. This is what this guy is saying. Allegedly, y'all, I wasn't there, but this is what he's saying. And then dogs too. They released dogs on them. What? Just to see if they would catch them too. And y'all know if they released the dogs on them, the dogs probably was chewing them up, y'all. Chewing them up, okay? If this is true. Let's go.
For sport.
Dom Couture says, this is sad. Black people trying to bring down black people. I don't know who you speaking of, but nobody's doing that over here on this channel. Sorry for you. That's not what we do over here. 0%. Not at all. What is this about? From Patton 78 says, this was coming from the thing of the Epstein files, from what we learned earlier. Patton, if you would have been here from the beginning of, and you would know, Couture, that the Epstein's files has a lot of names that are being brought up and being dropped to the public, to us. But anybody could have been a part of the Epstein's files. So just because Jay-Z's name is in the Epstein's files, that does not mean that he's guilty. He's guilty of association, yes, but not guilty of any charges or anything that's been brought up towards him, because no charges have been brought to him. It could have been as simple as, and I'm going to keep using the same example over just so it gets embedded in your head. It could have been Epstein going to the grocery store, purchasing a watermelon, any type of fruit from the watermelon lady. Her name, if that was your mom, her name would have been in the Epstein's files. That's just that.
He said they were doing this for sports, and they had helicopters and stuff, you know, up there trying to find them too, over their head, to make sure they didn't get away, y'all, basically, or to steer people in the right direction so where they could go to hunt these people down. Y'all, this is crazy.
Survival.
They're bringing out another movie. We should not watch movies like this. Nah, I wouldn't say so. A movie like what? Like The Hunt. I think that's the name of the movie of such that had people, you know, on the island running around for their pleasure. Greetings, everyone, from Versatile Beauty. Greetings to you. Appreciate you for being here.
Described Jay-Z and Beyonce being there on at least 3 occasions.
He said that Jay-Z and Beyonce has been there on at least 3 occasions. 3 times, y'all. 3. Let's go.
Laughing, directing.
He said laughing and directing. Did y'all hear what he said, y'all? Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Even killing when the moment felt right.
They said they even took out little ones in the hunt when the moment felt right for them too. Y'all, if this is true, Beyonce and them got a steep fall from grace, okay? That's coming their way.
An inspector with the Lagos State Police Command, 15 years on the force.
He said he has been on the force for 15 years.
I've seen corruption, I've seen crime, but nothing like this.
He said he have seen corruption, he's seen crimes take place, but nothing like this when it is, you know, has Beyonce and Jay-Z and them name tied to it. Okay, y'all? So this is what I'm telling y'all. Pay attention to the things that's being said in there.
Chris 5 says capitalized movie, sad. Share 2818 says the worst thing I ever saw was the YouTube Ain't No Party Like a Diddy Party from LeBron, and then how so late everything was ghosted. Very much so. B-Dong says, what's going on, world? To everybody here, we appreciate you for tapping in with the kid, taking this little journey and little walk with us. This is a society where we don't break the content, we just break the content down. And for those of you who don't know, that we learned a little bit about the Epstein's files, that anybody and everybody could have been in the Epstein's files, no matter who you are, where you're from, no matter the stature, whatever the case may be. You could have been the simplest of simplest. If you had any form or fashion to do with Epstein, then your name could be in the Epstein's files. And also, we did learn that there was a tip, Epstein's tipster list. So if someone would have called and said, Mr. John was doing anything with Epstein, then Mr. John would be in the Epstein's files, regardless of the fact. That's just how it goes.
Saying that this is some of the unsealed Epstein files, darkest secrets. So they're not showing y'all everything. It's some stuff that's unsealed. It's some stuff that's been taken out. He's saying this was a...
Appreciate you for subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you so much. We're growing over here slowly but surely. When we rising, we getting there. We appreciate that.
Those files too. Okay, y'all?
We have names, dates, locations, credible enough to open a formal case.
He said names, dates, locations. He got, this stuff is credible. Credible to file a case.
My team wanted to move fast, issue international arrest warrant.
He said his team wanted to move fast and issue international arrest warrants for these celebrities, y'all. Okay?
All the way in Nigeria, and this is coming from the Nigeria police officer himself.
Request Interpol red notices, question Jay-Z and Beyonce through diplomatic channels.
They wanted to question them through diplomatic channels. This is what they're saying, y'all.
We had enough to bring them in for questioning.
He said they had enough to bring him in for questioning.
To seek real justice for the victims and their families who still wait for answers.
And people that they done took these little ones away from their houses, they were never brought back. And he said they had enough information to get justice for these people, the victims and everybody and the families.
Yeah, they had enough information, godly, but couldn't move on it. And that's the way that goes sometimes. And they say that the higher ups stopped them from even being pursued. Madam Carly, we appreciate you. Shout out to you for being in the building. Bossette, tapping in to the A Society one time for the one time with the kid. Walk with me.
Okay, y'all?
But then the calls started, not from Abua, from higher.
He said then they start receiving calls from higher ups.
Very high.
Very high.
The message was the same every time.
And the message was the same every time.
Drop it.
Drop it. This is what he's saying. Drop it.
Shut the file. No further action.
Shut the file. No further action.
They said if we pursue this, if we name the celebrity.
He said if they pursue it or name any of the celebrities, which they done already named some of the celebrities because they named Jay-Z and Beyonce. Okay? This is what they was threatened of if they name anybody.
Or push for extradition.
Or push for extradition or anything like that.
Billions in development funds, health programs, security assistance.
Billions of anything that they were helping them with, medical assistance, whatever, building stuff for the help with their country, they would lose billions if they went forward on this.
Would be gone overnight. Epstein.
He said it would be gone overnight. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Do y'all believe it or not?
But question to what she's saying, every place and every notoriety of it, what are we talking about? Are we talking about child molestation, or are we talking about just they met in New York? Okay, that the Senate structure just threw me off a little bit. But yeah, if he just met him in New York, whatever the case may be, question is, were they taking them from New York or they took them from the rest of the world? That's a real question. Now, that's an actual question, and I don't have the actual answer, but to my guessing, I would say allegedly from all over the world because of the fact that they had these things, so-called handlers, and the handlers were people that had the victims and made them feel comfortable enough to even go to the island, bring the pressure down a little bit. So, to get the feel of whomever the person may be, just make them feel comfortable around them to be comfortable enough to go to the island of such. Definitely. One time for the one time. Two time for the two times. Any predator that has the audacity to go after children, there's only one place in HE double hockey sticks for them. Shout out to Cher.
Do y'all think Beyonce and Jay-Z is capable of what he's saying? I'm going to tell y'all what I believe. I believe it.
Shout out to Nina. Nina says, what would be going overnight? What would be going overnight would be the fact that they issued the warrants out for them and that they just deleted them. They were getting calls after call after call from the higher ups to tell them leave the files alone or everything is going to come down. We're going to come down. So I'm not sure of what person or persons that were getting in contact with the Nigerian police allegedly, but that's the way it goes sometimes, The management called, or we could in our where we would say HR called, you know what I mean, and got it squared away. That's all.
I believe it. When he was dancing and prancing with that devil worshiping.
No, I don't know if she saw the list or not, but the list is available to the public. Everything is available to the public. The Epstein files are available to the public.
Lady. And this same devil worshiping lady that Jay-Z was prancing around with and all of that stuff, the spiritual advisor lady, and she's an artist and all of that other stuff. They made her some type of ambassador or something over a school or something. She was somebody that they put over a school. And I was like, why would they put her over a school in another country? And she is being accused of.
Shout out to B-Dog. B-Dog says 400 people came up missing at Passover every year. Where are those people and what is happening to them? Lord. Children go missing all the time. Kids go missing all the time. I'm going to say protect yours and do what you must to make sure that yours are highly protected. Nina says once you're on the island, you ain't coming back.
Doing things to little ones and rituals and all kind of stuff. I believe it, y'all. These people put themselves in positions to be around little ones. Okay? A lot of people that's, I'm just saying, messed up in the head. Okay? I want you to pay attention to the CEO or whatever he was over the school pictures, y'all. The company that do the school pictures. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm saying. You know, ever since we were little, every year, in the middle of the school year, they would have picture day. And you would have to fill these forms out, your parents, with your name, your address, all your information on it. And you would do your pictures. Everybody in the classroom, they do the class picture, and then they do their single pictures, y'all. Okay? Whether they pay for them or not. And the person that...
Miss Watson, appreciate you for being here. Sorry and apologize that ever happened to you, man. You are in the prayers of. We keep you in the prayers, Miss Ma'am, and hope that your life has gotten, you know, better. And you've been, I know, I'm not going to say get over anything of that nature, but you've learned how to cope and deal with going through what you went through. And you are highly protected. Never forget that. Always stay protected. Thank you for being here.
Was CEO over the company that were taking these pictures of your little ones and yourself ever since you was in school, Head Start to whatever grade, okay, that they do those pictures to 8th grade or whatever, because then they do pictures in high school too, okay. I want you to pay attention to the person that was over the company. He was on this list too. They were keeping up with everybody through the school system, y'all. And these were people that were harming little ones. These were sick people that were doing all kind of strange things to little ones. Think about this, y'all. Think about...
Share 28.8. I understand what you're saying, but there's no excuses for child trafficking, no matter the way you look at it. That shit is disgusting. Definitely. Who's in agreement with that? No person on this fucking earth should be in agreement with that. So, I don't see, well, I'm not understanding what you're understanding. You understand what I'm saying, but now when you say but, you put the comma in the but, that means, okay, there's something that is not going towards the matter of. But no, ma'am, hell no. We're not in agreement with that. 0%. Tell them, kill yourself. Kill yourself.
You're in a database and your picture from every grade that you done went up. Head Start, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. They're watching you grow up. They got all of everybody's picture. And they could just make their pick on who they want. How do we not know that some of these little ones that they came up missing wasn't taken by some of these people? And the reason how they kept up with you and knew what they wanted is because they had your picture sitting right in their face with your addresses and everything on it. How do we not know that these people ain't been watching people's little ones? Picking them out when they feel like it. This is some crazy stuff we're hearing about right now, y'all. This is some crazy stuff.
Appreciate that for the sub. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Welcome to the A Society, my family. Welcome to the A Society.
The majority of the people that work for the Disney, word on the street, are people that like to mess with little ones. They want jobs like that. This is why it's a lot of janitors and stuff like that try to be in the school system so they can be around little ones. Because they're sick. But tell me if that ain't the sickest of them all, because you can keep up with everyone. You can look at somebody's picture and be like, I want that one. These are the higher ups that they made a business out of keeping up with your little ones, and they're on the Epstein list too. I believe it. I believe it. Y'all don't care what nobody say. I believe it. And the crazy part about this is, like I said the other day, you mean to tell me our FBI don't have enough evidence to arrest nobody? Nobody. Word on the street is there are bodies over there of little ones that were taken out doing their little escapades. Their sport events. Their sick mingle-tingle sessions. Little ones passed away from it, word on the street, and they were buried on that island, word on the street. This was on the news. That they were doing an investigation into this.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, you can't make this up. 3 occasions they're saying that Beyonce, 3 occasions that Beyonce.
What if I told you you could bring your craziest ideas to life in just a few clicks? The new Artlist AI Toolkit has everything you need to create, nice and organized, all in one place. Create storyboards or concept visuals for client pitches, or simply build a world you've always wanted. Maybe you don't have time to record a voiceover. You can generate one right here with tons of options.
3 occasions.
The share, she says, yeah, but if you say something like that, that doesn't make people feel secure. I mean, the big thing is protect our own, right? Yes, mandatory. You must always protect your own. And if you can, protect those of others that are around you or you may feel, comfortable with, your loved ones. Everyone should be protected. Everyone should be protected. All the good should be done to those who are good. And for those who are not, I mean, I can't say you just do your unjust. But kids are a must. Protect the kids at all costs. Protect the innocent at all costs. Stay the course, Stay the course. Yes, kids disappeared. Part of it, allegedly, and CPS. Oh, wow, and CPS. Gosh almighty. B-Dog says the worst place is the churches. Whoa. All these data breaches be your information being sold under the guise of a breach. Yes, indeed. You're absolutely right about that. She's right, because the board are all the people who actually feed the fire. Yes, they feed the fire. That's why if you're in that line of work, if your heart isn't in it, you shouldn't be doing it at all. Anybody dealing with CPS, anything of that nature, if your heart isn't in it, you shouldn't be doing it. Point simple and plain.
Yeah. That Beyonce and Jay-Z were there. Y'all let me know, do y'all believe it or not? This guy is telling a lot of stuff. He's talking about his life, that how many years he been on the force, saying he never seen anything like it. We see it all the time. They putting it in the movies. Me and my mom, we had a movie night yesterday, and we were looking at everything that we would put on. It was about it was some weird stuff, y'all. about people keeping up with you and through different things and stuff like that, and AI stuff and all of this stuff.
Smurfette says she marches on Saturday. You guys, where you marching at, Smurfette? Keep you in the prayers. I read I think like something earlier, if I can scroll all the way back up, that it was something for the kids. So if that's the case, we keep you in the prayers, Smurfette. Hope everything goes well. B-Dog says the rich people write they checks every week. That's why they make so many investments. That's why they can't move forward. Ah, big facts, B-Dog, big facts. You know something.
Y'all, this is a sad world that we're living in. For real, for real. And the elites then got out of hand, to be honest with y'all. They didn't get out of hand. And it is time, y'all, for some justice for a lot of people out here that have been through some situations with these nasty mother hubbards. Okay, y'all? If it's true. If it's true. So I'm going to say allegedly because I don't know, I wasn't there. But according to this Nigerian police officer that didn't have 15 years on the force, he's saying it's true. He's saying it's true. And I'm going to say this. For Trump and everybody, you know, the higher ups right now that feel like they should be cleaning out another country and making things right in their country. These people should feel the same way about cleaning up a mess like this in this country and stop covering it up. If it's true. So I'm going to say allegedly. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Please like, share, subscribe if you like the video. And thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.
And there we have it, people. There we have it. Appreciate everybody here. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Put some smooth on y'all for y'all 1 second. Some people are just so poor. Hain UCE808 says some people are so poor that all they have is money. Bob Marley. Yes. Yes, indeed. Can't be measured by the millions at all. That has no matter of life. 0%. Because Bob Marley, he in tune with that, being in tune with that, Bob Marley did speak and say that he was the richest man on earth, but it had nothing to do with the value of funds. Nothing lucrative about his funds, not the amount of money that he had, but he was rich due to the amount of love that he had from the people and from his loved ones. And that is something that I preach to my kids, to my family members, to everybody that I'm in close ties with, to try to at least keep them grounded of some sort, you know? Because money is there. They say it's the root of all evil. So we don't want to make money the thing about life. What we know as soon as we get older, you know, some people start realizing that the time being spent with your family and loved ones is the things that count. The memories is what count. You being able to go to that basketball game, that football game, that soccer practice, that trombone practice, that, you know, those are the things that really, really, really count in life. Because after that is, wrong music. Hold on. Let me get y'all right. My fault, y'all. Okay, there we go. I apologize. That was the outro. My fault, chat. But you have to make sure that your family is okay, and that's what really counts as the family grows. As you grow, you start realizing like, okay, I can have this amount of money, but are your kids going to remember? Or just take it for instance, are they going to remember that you brought them the biggest birthday parties when they were 3-4 years old? Or are they going to remember that you were there for every celebration? You were there cheering them on when they were feeling down. You were there for every single thing possible. So that's what you have to look at. That's what Bob Marley was getting to, and that's why Bob Marley felt like he was the richest, one of the wealthiest, I would say wealthiest mans alive. Very much so. I Am Kingdom says, let go of not being a father figure to your children. Yes. Please let it go. You have to be in your kids' lives, man. It's mandatory. If you and the mother aren't together and y'all not trying to make it work as a family, just guess what? Y'all still family. Y'all are still family. Y'all still have to raise the children. Y'all still have to make sure that the children are good. Y'all still have to make sure that their life and their future is heavily planned, heavily, because you want the best for them. Do you not? You know? Shay says, kids are innocent. They had no choice in anything, and that's why we as adults are so angry about it. Yeah. Just, you have to excuse me, Shay, because I want to express myself to the T of how I feel about it, but I know that it'll get me into a rage of such because of the fact that I'm a different breed. Kids, women, elderly people, all off limits about anything. Always want to make sure that they are always good, always respected, never neglected. And it would get me into a point of, okay, I'll start raging just from thinking about the situation that occurred. And I'm new to the YouTube streets, and I don't know how far I can take things or whatever the case may be, but I understand and I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. 100%. And True Seeker says self-sufficiency is important, but being able to make it out without outside help. Yes, indeed. B-Dog, weed is legal after years. Why is that? Why is weed not illegal anymore? The government. They see that they can make money from it. As long as they're getting their cut, that's all. We need the march on Washington for children. Indeed, we need to boycott America until they open up all the files. I'm with it. Weed is illegal in my state. Sucks for you. But that's if you are an advocate cannabis user, And I know I came in late, but still, I want to hear your guys' opinion. You got it. I've been trying to give it to you as much as I could, Shay. That's all. You'll always catch it, slowly but surely. Next time, you got to be on time. That's all. Just show up to the party on time. Subscribe, put your notification bells on, and as soon as something goes on, you'll get the notification, and you'll be right here, right in the room with everybody else. You going to church don't make you holy. You can preach the gospel on the corner. You can congregate right on the corner. Indeed. Diaz, your beard looks like cotton. It looks like nice and, a little something, Appreciate that. Gotta make sure, it's moisturized, smelling good. Got a little bounce to it, little bounce. He's saying it's true about who calls. I missed that. Black Panther marched to Washington. Not for that, though. Indeed. I got a question. What happens when you are eliminated from your child's life without ever meeting them and not knowing the truth for why I wasn't present? Let me reread. What happens when you are eliminated from your child's life without ever meeting them? What do you mean eliminated? And knowing the truth about why I was. Oh, okay, understood. Okay, I had to double read that. What's your name? I can't see the numbers, but I'm gonna just say truth. My best thing, my this is only my advice or something. I'm not even gonna say advice. I'm just gonna say something that I would do. If I was eliminated from my child's life prior to me ever meeting them, I would do my all, and I do mean my all, to try and make sure that somehow, some way, I get to meet my child and be in my child's life. Because if you still have contact, if you're still in contact with the mother or the father, you know who they are, they know who you are as of the child being born. It's something should be worked out. Even if you guys are on bad terms, the child did nothing. The child did nothing to either one of you guys. So I would say try to make peace as well and have blessings upon blessings, because the child is going to need it, whether it be the mother or the father. A woman, a little lady, she needs her daddy and her mother in her life, just as well as a man, little fella, he needs his dad and his mom in his life. He needs his dad, which I hope it wants to be in his life, but you know, different strokes for different folks. The Terry Crews story. No, I have not, but I will look that up, Shay. I will look that up. The Terry Crews story. No, I have not heard anything about that, but I will look that up. I'll put that in my notes right now. Got it. It had nothing to do with money. I saw Bob Marley live. Yeah, definitely had nothing to do with money. Nothing at all. Nothing. It was just the love of the people. Just the love of the people that he received and what he instilled to others. That's all. That's all that he needed. That's all that he needed. Shit says, do you know what the little birds on his steps were about? No. They were about everybody listening to the message. That's what he was trying to procure. Speaking through the birds. Awesome sauce. That's deep. Yeah, that's deep. Please read what I said. Yeah, I just read what you said. I know I'm not on mute, am I? Yeah, I just read what you said. And that right there, Shay? That what you speaking about? Cause all your everything that was in long form, I've been posting. Well, putting it up here, you know. ATM 79, this is why idiots will watch anything. I don't know. I don't know, buddy. Can you elaborate on that, ATM? Spring is near and it's the perfect time to prepare your gardens. Definitely. Doing all your pruning and all of that should have been done in the wintertime. Now, get your seedlings down. Grass is going to be green. It's about that time. Bill Clinton. Do you think an ex-president of the United States should be getting a massage from a young lady? Nah, not especially if she's underage. No sirree, Baba. Dirty Jersey. No sir. That was the original plan and they waited for it. My dad was a dealer back in the day and they just waited for the shift and that is where it's been. Yeah. Shifty. Oh, you got jokes. I will subscribe. I'm all game. What joke, Shay? I wasn't joking on you. Just to let you know, I wasn't joking on you at all. Ash Dragon says, yo, I'm back. Appreciate you, Drag. Popping in one time for the kid. Thank you. I subscribe. And I like to hear this is good conversation with people who have open minds. You have to be open-minded. It's 2026. Can't just be narrow. Have to be open-minded. different people walk very different ways of life, you know? 1 + 1 = 2. But 2 + 0 = 2. 3 × 1 = 2, you know? It all depends upon. That's all. Haynes says, did I miss the drama? Yeah, you're gonna have to rewind, take it. That's all. Rewind it back one time. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell so then you don't miss any drama. Well, I wouldn't say drama, but any of the party. Make sure you're in the chat. Make sure you get all the info that's going on. Yeah, we appreciate you, Shay. We definitely appreciate you for being here. Without you guys, there's no, you know, I'd just be sitting here rambling. Red hat making me unsure right now. Where you see a red head at, only? On the front? On the front? Where's the red hat, buddy? No taxes on overtime. I wish I was still working. Yeah, no taxes on overtime? Nah. That's where they eat you. They already, you know, knock you down for your worth, but at the end of the day, when you do work overtime, they're taking the majority of the chunk of that. So it's like, what am I doing it for? But you do it because you know at the end of the day, it's more greatness to come. Slowly but surely, you're gonna make it. Nah, it'll be all right, Dirty. Be okay. Only front. Only front. No red hats over here, buddy. You might need some of these. truth seeker. he knows not the wrath of the fear that he brings upon himself. He's okay. He's okay. He knows no better. None of the anything of the sort. No problem, Shay. We appreciate you. It's all love. I don't know, buddy. You need to find you some peace. Oh, what's going on, you guys? Don't need y'all battling in the chats. It's all love. It's all love. chat. Y'all make sure y'all have a good one. It's been a blessing upon blessing. That's my time for tonight. As far as this goes, I'll be back up here shortly. Just wanted to reach out, let everybody know. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's all love, friend. It's all love. That's all. Everybody, be peaceful, be blessed. No stress, you know? Thank y'all for being here. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. And that's it for tonight. We'll get back on to tomorrow's topic early in the AM, probably around 9:30ish, 10 o'clock-ish, around that time. About to get off here, play a little COD for probably about 35, 45 minutes, and then off to the night. Good night, good night. Appreciate y'all. Stay blessed, and remember, protect the kids. Always. Always protect the kids, protect the elderly, protect the innocent. Always. Thank y'all.